Khair, inshallah. Are there any questions from the brothers here? Father Muzammil.
Does the diet of a student of knowledge have an effect on his memory and his focus, stuff like that?
Question is regarding the diet of a student of knowledge, and does it have an effect on his focus and his memory, etc.? Yes and no. Yes and no. From one aspect, yes, what you eat affects your sleeping habits, your digestion, your energy, lethargy, mental sharpness, no doubt precision, right? Certain foods or drinks or ways of eating and drinking could make you sluggish. And there are other things such as tea, oolong tea, tea guanyin, which will what? Sharpen you up. Mao Thang, and other types of teas as well to get you what? Sharper than a thumbtack. Bi-idhnillahi ta'ala. You know what a sharp thumbtack is? Just touch it and you what? You're bleeding, right? So from one aspect, certain things, certain foods, certain drinks, yes. Or not even the food or the drink, but how you eat and drink, when you eat, when you drink, how often you eat, how often you drink. Many people, they're blinded by healthy foods. And they think that a healthy food is only something that is, or it's absolute. Okay, you can eat too much of a healthy food and it can be bad for you. Or you can eat a healthy food on an empty stomach or at a wrong time and it's what? Bad for you. Or you can eat a healthy food which isn't as fresh and it can be bad for you. So there's always a fiqh of healthy foods. Just because it's organic doesn't mean it's going to, right? Just because the medicine is good doesn't mean it's administered properly, right? وهكذا. So that's the yes part. And of course the ulama of Islam and our culture of hadith, they've spoken on this. And we've spoken on this in many classes over the years. The no part is, there may be a brother in Egypt or Medina who's drinking Coca-Cola and eating at Hardee's and McDonald's every day. Burgers and fries. Inshallah, the meat is halal. Every day he's eating fast food. And he's maybe studying and memorizing what? And getting it in. And he may have a better memory, better qira'ah, better tajweed than the one who's taking the organic green tea and he's the natural gum from the mountains of Yemen and this seaweed and this type of fish. So don't think just because you eat something that's, fancy or organic or green that it's going to make you work harder. The brother drinking the Coke and the burger, he may just have more talent. He may have more talent. He's just better, mashallah. Okay? Or he may study harder. He may study longer. Now, the question comes in, there's the brother eating the fast food every day, and then there's the brother who's eating the fish and the this and the that, and they're equally talented and equally hardworking. Then, no doubt, the healthy brother is going to have the what? He's going to have that edge. There's no doubt about that. And the same applies to certain things that you eat and drink. It is only going to be a benefit if you do it in abundance, and if that's what you do for a living. You ever go to a jeweler? You ever go to get your watch fixed or a ring? What's the first thing that the jeweler does? You put your watch down, you put your ring down, your bracelet. What's the first thing that he does? He does what? Anybody know? There you go. And he never ever picks it up and looks at it like we would do. We just look at it. He puts it on his eye, and that's because he's looking at jewelry all day, every day. So that little extra percentage of strain taken away from his eyes and gives him a more accurate look makes a big difference. But if you just pick up a ring, you pick up a watch once, it's not going to hurt if you just what? You just look at it. But if you do that for a living, that little 3%, that 5%, that 10% is a what? Makes a huge difference. It's a game changer. So if I'm studying and reading and memorizing all day, every day, I'm studying professionally, this gum that I chew, or this tea that I drink, or this food that I stay away from, and that gives me that little what? The extra sharpness. Look at that. But don't think you're going to become Bukhari or Ahmed or Fulan just because you what? Nah, it don't work like that, all right? No replacement for good old-fashioned hard work. And I mean this because many brothers get caught up in the mystical stuff. They get caught up in the fancy romantic stuff. Oh, mashallah, Sheikh Fulan didn't drink cold water for 50 days and kada. And they don't get it. Sheikh Fulan, he's studying all night until his eyes are red. You understand? And just because you don't drink cold water don't mean you're going to have a good voice when you recite the Quran. Now, the brother who has the talented voice and he doesn't drink the cold water. Wallahu alam. Father Ilyas.
The city came out with this new incentive in which, for a certain amount of days, if a person is set to have their COVID booster shot, they will hand them a $100 incentive.
MashaAllah.
Is that something permissible for the Muslims?
طيب. خير inshallah. At the end of the day, like we said before many times, if you feel that the COVID shot is permissible, and if you feel that it's a good thing to do, you do it. And if they give you an incentive, there's nothing wrong with taking an incentive. A Muslim is allowed to have an incentive and to receive an incentive. That's fine. Khaira, there's no sin in that. Even if a person said, look, the shot to me doesn't mean anything. Potato, tomato, it don't matter. You're going to die no matter what. These people say it's evil, it's full of baby fetus, I'm going to take the shot and get the $100. I want the $100. I need the $100. That's fine. But the problem comes in a person getting a shot feeling that the shot is haram, or feeling that the shot is makruh, or feeling that the shot is min al mushtabihat, or shubuhat, is doubtful, is I don't know. But the $100, that what? That blue line, the reflection when you see the second smaller face. I need that. They say la. Wallahu alam. Father Hamza.
So when you pray with Imam, Isha, Fajr, or Maghrib when he's leading, do you recite Surah Al-Fatiha when he's reciting Surah Al-Fatiha or after you recite?
When you're praying behind the Imam, and the Imam is reciting out loud, you should listen to the Imam's recitation. That's what I would do if it was me. To stay on the safe side, recite at least the Fatiha. All right, there's different views of the ulama with regards to that. The safest view is to recite the Fatiha, but I don't consider that to be the strongest view. The strongest view, without a doubt, is to remain silent when the Quran is being recited to you. Wallahu alam. Fadil akhi.
If there was a student of knowledge who, when reaching the country, is having hardship because of their felonies, should he turn around and come back, or should he remain firm in what he started to do? Meaning that he can't get residency and things like that.
He can't do what? I'm sorry?
He can't get residency, maybe he's having trouble with school.
Clear. And the country to where he's going?
Where he's at,
Okay, where he wants to go and study and live.
where he is at right now, yes.
Okay, Tayyip. I would say be patient. Be patient. And to all things, there's a thumbscrew. To all things. There's a way of unlocking and unhooking, unhinging everything. But it depends on how much patience you have, your connection with Allah, and what you're willing to pay and sacrifice to get that thumbscrew. There's a way of getting in. There's a way of getting a residency. There's a way of getting into the university. There's a way of studying in another university. Most of us lack sabr. We're not willing to pay. We're not willing to sacrifice. And we're not willing to use it as ibadah. While you're waiting, while you're suffering, it's worship. So don't turn around. Regardless of your past, regardless of what issue you have, keep trying. And if you can't get into this country, there are other countries. Many other countries in which you can study and practice. But based off of what you're willing to sacrifice. You may lose this. It's not Saudi, okay? You don't have this. This country, there's predominant aqidah, it's something else. That's something you have to what? You got to sacrifice now. I don't believe in that stuff. I know what my aqidah is, but this is the best country, the only country that I can get in because of my age, because of my situation, and I can study there with a tutor that's not teaching me that crazy stuff. So some brothers, they get dejected. I couldn't get into Medina because of my age. I couldn't go to Kuwait because of Kedha. I couldn't go to Riyadh because I had this issue. So therefore, I don't want to go study nowhere else, and that's wrong. A Muslim country in which it has some things, some problems. Not saying that Saudi doesn't have problems. That's not what we're saying. That's not the message. But you guys get the point I'm trying to make. All right? You go to a country that has some major issues. Is that better than Canada? Is it better than America? Of course. At least there's somewhere to go study. There's a masjid in which you can sit in a corner. No one's bothering you. Okay? They're spinning and twirling and dancing. I have my personal Quran teacher. He may be spinning and dancing too. But right now, he's teaching me Quran. Period. Right now, he's teaching me Lugha al-Arabiya. And that's it. So it depends on what you're willing to give up. And in most cases, when you make those sacrifices, doors open up. In most cases. Wallahu alam. That's what I would say. Any other questions from online, Fahad? Fadl, yes.
I can read the questions on myself.
Fadl. Bismillah.
Imam Lexington, KY. Assalamu alaikum. Hayakumullah ya Shaykhana. How should a Muslim respond to Merry Christmas or Happy Holidays?
Merry Christmas or Happy Holidays. Tell them to have a nice day. Thank you. You be safe. You have a nice day. Aywa. Basic ma'ruf. You don't have to believe or accept that. At the same time, you're not rude. That's it. Keep it moving. Wallahu alam.
Initials RA from Boston.
Alayhi salam to Allah.
What are the conditions of a person getting punished by Allah? And can a person be punished for a sin if they make sincere sin?
Conditions for a person being punished by Allah. What's important is Allah has threatened those who disobey Him with punishment. And Allah Azza wa Jal has promised those who disobey Him with punishment. And Allah has also offered and promised forgiveness and mercy and accepting the tawbah and treating the slave in a manner which the slave may not deserve, giving him more than what the slave actually deserves from Allah. Allah is Kareem. Allah is Ghafur Rahim. Okay, Allah is Afuun. وهكذا. Have good thoughts of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You make tawbah, you make repentance, and that's it. Don't worry about it. Don't think about it. Don't get stuck on the past. Beware of shaitan and the games that he plays on the minds of the children of Adam. Wallahu alam.
H.A. Hamilton, Canada. How to teach people books by Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahhab in a university MSA without causing controversy.
Allahu Akbar. Only if you want, Akhi. If you don't want more, I'm not going to force you. You sure?
I'll take it.
Inshallah. How to teach books. Allah bless you. Ameen. How to teach books of Muhammad bin Abdul Wahhab in an MSA without causing controversy. To keep things simple and brief, I don't see the issue of controversy. I'm in an MSA and we're going over conditions of La ilaha illallah. 3 fundamental principles of Islam. The questions that we have to answer in our graves. Hijrah. The Prophet talks about, Ibn Abdul Wahhab talks about the Prophet's hijrah. Talks about Tawheed. Things like this. Simple. The specifics of this and that, you don't even have to get into. The average Muslim is not even there mentally. They're going to college. I'm trying to get an engineering degree. I study, my teacher, she covered up. A lot of people that get caught up in colleges, brothers that get sidetracked. Can a sister give a talk at the MSA? It's haram. Can a sister be the president of the MSA? La yuflihu qawmun wallahu amrahum imra'a. Your physics teacher. Kafira, mushrika, wathaniya, right? How's she dressed? How does she talk? How much perfume does she put on before she comes to the classroom? I mean, like, seriously. But a sister with a kimar, a long shirt, pants, whatever, they say, oh, she can't be the head of the MSA. She can't talk in front of the brothers. Wallah, is amazing. The trickery of shaitan. You studied in a mixed university of kuffar, mushrikun, Hindus, Jews, Christians, atheists, agnostics. And a person is worrying about this and that and so on and so forth. It's mind-boggling. So the average Muslim going to college is in need of the basics of his deen. And the basics of your deen will never, ever, bi'idhnillah, be controversial. Tawheed, tahara, salah, akhlaq of a Muslim, basic stuff. If something comes up, if there's an issue, this is mentioned, you say, I don't know about that. Or we're not going to mention that right now. We're sticking to the conditions of salah. You can talk about that at the masjid or brother fulan. Hakada. Wallahu a'lam.
DK, San Diego, California, USA. Is it permissible to go to a gym where men and females are working out together, even if your intention for working out, you will see females that are not dressed well?
Going to the gym, seeing females that aren't dressed well. Allahu a'lam. What that means? Meaning Islamically well, or they're not what? Dressed well. They may be dressed well, too well. but they're not Islamically well, all right? Let's be realistic now, all right? They're dressing too well at the gym. They're wearing clothes that reveal, that show you their natural creation. Huh? Right? What's important is stay away from fitna, period. Avoid fitna. If it's a problem, how those women are dressed, men, don't go to the gym. Go to another gym. Go to the gym at a quiet time, a time in which is not crowded. Make your own gym. Get 5, 10 brothers together, put your money together, and what? How difficult could it be? If everybody here loves to work out, but I don't want to see this woman on a treadmill. I don't want to see this guy wearing spandex in my face. I don't want this woman coming to talk to me. Oh, come, can you spot me what? On my squats. It's a reality now. If you don't want to be in that type of environment and say everybody get together, we'll pay such and such, and we rent out an apartment and make a what? A halal gym. Simple. Rip right, huh? That's right, huh? Body tight. Wallahu alam. Ontario.
What is the difference between hadith al-nafs, the whisper of shaitan, and normal thoughts?
Hadith al-nafs and normal thoughts. Well, who said hadith al-nafs is a whisper of shaitan? Who said that? Where are you getting that from, that hadith al-nafs is from shaitan? It clearly says hadith al-nafs. It's the speech of the actual self. Next question.
H. Burnsville, Minnesota, how to balance al-wala wal-bara.
How to balance al-wala wal-bara. Seek Allah's help. Living in the world in which we live. Naam. Allah musta'an. What's important is hold on to your values the best way you can. The best way you know how. Al-wala wal-bara. There are levels to it. There are levels of intensity of wala wal-bara, right? Living among all Muslims versus living with non-Muslims. Living in a place and a time which Muslims have pride. They're proud to be Muslims. They hold their heads high. Alhamdulillah, I'm a Muslim. La ilaha illallah, Muhammad Rasulullah. Versus Muslims being afraid and scared. And Muslims feeling that they'll lose their job if they're identified as a Muslim. And Muslims being brainwashed to think that Muslims are the terrorists, Muslims are blowing people up, Muslims are killing people. And that's extreme if you dress like this, if you have a beard. You have to weigh the situation, right? And Allah knows best.
CK from Conakry, Guinea. What should your intention be when doing a good deed? Is it to please Allah or to do the deed to go to Jannah or get the reward of it?
You do whatever you need to do to perform that good deed. As far as if it's an obligatory act, whatever pushes you, the reward of doing that obligatory act. The sin of not performing that obligatory act. If it's a virtuous deed, something which is extra, you use the incentive that Allah has given you. I like serving people. It makes, I'm never depressed when I do this. All right? You use the incentive. Wallahu alam.
AISD, California. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How to focus when reading, and I am studying in general. Jazakallah khair.
Or yakum, how to focus when reading. It depends on what you're reading. This will be our last question tonight. It depends on what you're reading. Some things you read, you should not focus. Some things are meant to be read. Practice, exercise reading to someone. Or you're just perusing through the book. Or one of my personal techniques is sometimes you read something without concentrating and you allow the subconscious or another frequency of the brain to get it. And it comes up later on. Hopefully it's not too soupy for you guys, right? You read something and you're just reading. I'm not writing it down. I'm not trying to memorize. I'm just reading. Sheikh said in Taymiyyah, boom, 20 pages, 30 pages, 50 pages, 100 pages, just reading. Without trying to what? Now, 2 weeks later or 2 years, 10 years later on, I'm speaking on something, someone asked me a question, and then what? Bang! Sheikh Taymiyyah said this. It just comes subconsciously, right? And that's my own personal experiences. It worked for me, alhamdulillah. It may not work for you, or maybe too mystical, whatever, but that's how it is. Try it out, right? And then there are other times which I'm reading, and you read, and you're actually, what? Focusing on what you're reading. You're taking your time. Okay? You're looking up the word that you don't get, how to pronounce this, you're writing it down, you're trying to what? Retain it. And the best way of doing that, inshallah ta'ala, is focusing, concentrating. And that's why they say single-mindedness is all powerful. Practicing how to have a single-minded mind as a talib al-ilm. Wife, kids, money, sports, just focusing on one, not one page, one sentence. You hone in. You have to be trained properly, right? Wallahu alam. هذا وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على عبده ورسوله نبينا وإمامنا محمد. جزاكم الله خيرا.